Hi, and welcome to CSM Mistakes Were Made. Here are my two yarn carriers, and this one is the original one. It's a non-slotted yarn carrier. Here's my newer one that came from Dave Lord in Canada that is a slotted yarn carrier. I use this one almost always, but as I was editing my video on the E-wrap, which you'll see coming up, it occurred to me that, not everybody has a slotted yarn carrier. I found it very easy to achieve an E-wrap cast on with this guy, but how do you do an E-wrap with one of these? So I put the question out to our experienced crankers, and they answered unequivocally that yes, you can certainly use a non-slotted yarn carrier. And furthermore, the E-wrap cast on was something that could be done well before slotted yarn carriers came into popularity. So I'll show two ways to do the E-wrap, one with slotted yarn carrier and one with a non-slotted yarn carrier. You'll also see in the video this cute little hack. I describe how it's done in the video. It's a stir stick. You have to put a little slit in it to get the yarn in and out. It kind of works like a stylus to get the yarn around the needles. The E-wrap cast on is very versatile, very easy cast on. You can go directly from the E-wrap cast on to any other pattern, including mock rib. It's a great cast on. So I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching CSM Mistakes Were Made. In today's video, I want to show the E-wrap technique. Let me go over my landmarks like I usually do. This is my Ligari 400 machine. It has my 60 slot cylinder in it. I have just installed some waste yarn. This is 3 o'clock, so needle number 1 is down, and the last bit of green yarn has just wrapped around the far end of it. This is 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. I'm going to insert a row of ravel cord. So I'm going to put it in my yarn carrier. I just kind of drape it over this little screw here. Now here's the critical part. We're going to start with the ravel cord, and we're going to raise all of those needles that just took the ravel cord. And of course, we need to keep going to get all of these raised. An E-wrap is done on raised needles. If you do use E-wrap and use ravel cord, start the ravel cord, and as soon as that yarn carrier gets far enough, start raising needles. And now your yarn carrier can get up to all the mischief it wants to. When we need this again, we're going to be putting yarn from this over at needle number 1 after we get the E-wrap done. So I'll show you. I want to show a hack that I learned from Amy Sanders, who learned it from somebody else. And the hack is that you take a coffee stirrer, you split it down one side, because you will actually have to get the yarn out. A regular straw, is too big, because what the beauty of these little stirrer sticks is that they fit between the needles. I'm going to take my straw, I've split it, put it inside a little bit, and then once you get it started, all you have to do is pull it and it'll find the middle of the straw. So that's how I would do it. It's kind of a challenge maybe to figure out how to get the yarn in that little tiny straw. I suppose you could use a thin long needle. With E-wrap, you can go this way or this way, clockwise or counterclockwise. And why is that? The clockwise wrapping results in a little bit prettier edge, in my opinion. This is needle number 1. I'm going to take this and wrap it around in a clockwise fashion and go around needle number 2 and wrap that around, and needle number 3. And you can keep going. If you want to do a few of them, you end up needing to push everything down like I've just done here. But what you can start to see is that beautiful smooth edge is on the inside, and what looks like little almost pearl bumps is on the outside. And I actually have thought about it, and I've wondered, like, how does that geometry happen? I don't quite get it, but needless to say, it does work. Very important not to be too tight with this. You'll know it's too tight when you try to crank it. It'll be a hard thing to crank, And the stirrer stick might actually help keep you from going too tight. So you can see how I'm adding more loops around the base of the needle. You can do this without a stir stick. I'm kind of committed to doing it with a stir stick, so I don't think I can take it back out. But here I'm going to go beyond this needle and then wrap, and then beyond this needle and then wrap, and then I think I'll snug it up a little bit because that is a little too loose. So you can see how fast this can go. The last needle is needle number 60, and I'm pointing to it right now with my stirrer. I'm going to go all the way around that, and then this yarn that now kind of exits around it will be put into my yarn carrier. Now, I need to take this out. That's why you have to put the slit in it, because now you need it off, and you can just pull it off. Now, my V-cam is preventing needles from dropping, and of course I need to drop these now to get them to knit. So I'm dropping them down, and of course all of the latches are above the loop, so don't drop them too far down. Make sure that they have a fighting chance by leaving them raised up a little bit. Here's my yarn that is stretched across here. I think I will crank forward, and you'll see how the loose E-wrap stitches rise up. As the V-cam moves out of the way, I can drop the rest of these, because of course we need to get the rest of these cranked in. So let's see, I'm going to crank to about 5 o'clock. Here's 3 and here's 9, and so 6 is just about right here. I'm going to crank till about 4 or 4:30 or 5. We can keep going from here and just do stockinette if we want. But the whole purpose of me doing the E-wrap technique is so that I can do 2x2 ribbing, which is what my friend's daughter wanted on these socks. So I get my ribber ready, and this is the most time-consuming part of it, to move every 3rd and 4th cylinder stitch to ribber stitches. Can you use a non-slotted yarn carrier like this one to do E-wrap? And absolutely you can. Here's my pink waste yarn loaded in a 3x1 pattern. I've left every 4th needle out. I've put my revel cord in on needle number 1. I'm going to crank around, and before I get too far, I want to make sure to lift all of the needles past 3 o'clock, starting with needle number 1, so that they can accept the E-wrap. And these are under the V-cam, so I can't lift those. So let's get this done, and we'll pull that in just a minute. Now, one thing I think might be possible is E-wrapping on needles that are down. If that is possible, I don't know how to do it. I do E-wraps on needles that are raised, mostly because the yarn carrier and therefore the V-cam can kind of complicate things. So we want to take the V-cam out of action. We want all of the needles to be sort of put in neutral, so to speak. So we've added the 3-ply acrylic yarn to the topper through the ring light, and now through the non-slotted yarn carrier, and it is ready to be added to needle number 1. And I'm going to grab it and wind my yarn in a clockwise fashion. And you'll notice that I hold down every stitch. I'm not making it tight. This would be a very bad thing to be too tight with. So we wind it that way. The yarn is feeding gradually through the yarn topper. You might have to switch hands as you go around in circles. And so this is how it's done. Now my hands are definitely in your way, but I think you get the idea. As you're looking down on a needle, you're wrapping it first in front to the back and then around. So it's a clockwise progression. The yarn carrier is going to start getting in my way, so I'll probably end up moving it. And since the needles are up, it doesn't really matter. We'll be stretching the yarn with it, but that's okay. Eventually, I do need to move the tip of my V-cam so I will be able to lower these, and I think I can do that right now, lower the needles in preparation for cranking this first row. I think I'll go. And then we'll put the rest of these down. So we've now gone about 3/4 of the way around the 60 slot cylinder with the yarn. These have yet to be kind of locked in, so these have to be done. The next job to do if you wanted to do a selvage like this is install your ribber, and starting at this empty needle here, this is the 4th slot, pick up both of these floats and add them to the ribber needle, and then you're on your way to starting a really neat cuff and edge. I think I've fallen in love again with my old yarn carrier. I just think I might be using this a little bit more. It fits the machine beautifully, and I'm really glad that I did this project so I can gain a new appreciation for this old girl. All right, thanks for watching. CSM Mistakes Were Made.